5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. You're on a 3-game winning streak, and so are the Packers.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I just can't get this out of my head because I'm trying to put this in perspective, what happened. Because I remember they were 2-5, and people probably were freaking out. But if you're Brian Gutekunst and you go to Joe Barry and say, you know what, I'm going to trade 29 for a 5th-round pick, one of your best corners. Jair's hurt. Savage has to go on IR for a few weeks. Ford is a little banged up too, but don't worry. I got 2 young kids that's dying for an opportunity, 37 and 35. 36 can play, and the grown man in the room really is 34, who's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, Jonathan
Owens. So it just makes me think that he's sitting back saying, when all this was going on with the Jets, and people thought, well, the Packers are going to be terrible, and the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. I was just sitting back laughing because you just never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You just don't know, but
his plan was that eventually Jordan Love would come around.
Yes, that's what he believed.
And he was right.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 touchdowns and no interceptions in the last 3 games. He's got a 119 passer rating in the last 3 games.
Yes.
I mean, what happened? What do you think happened?
Oh, I got a educated guess.
Okay.
When you put a band together, it's a band. It's not a solo act. So with quarterbacks, you have to handle them with white gloves or no gloves. Or you can do the Michael Jackson treatment, 1 glove, and just give him some input. What do you like to do? And I think sometimes LaFleur says things, and he said, kind of the beginning of the Detroit game, they were talking about what the first play, and Jordan said, no, coach, I like that play. Let's do it. Long pass, Christian Watson. Now Watson been on a tear. Hopefully he can get healthy down the stretch. So I think what happened was Jordan can do stuff at the line if he wants. He can work with the coaches and tell him what he wants, and then the coaches go back in and coach him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference in his play.
It's interesting. You asked me what I asked LaFleur at press conference.
Yes,
So one of the things I asked him was, through all these weeks, have you seen Love do these things in practice? And has it just now, kind of manifested itself into the games? And he says, yeah, we see it every day in practice. That's why they were so high on him. But for some reason, it wasn't just translating into games. And part of that was probably a new wide receiver core, all these young guys, new tight end core.
Yeah.
And now you see guys, and we'll show one play where, they're running routes that get themselves open, and he's delivering it. So that's probably part of the reason too. Do you think they can keep that going?
Well, I think they can because it's kind of on-the-job training with some of the young receivers. But the thing that I just absolutely admire about Jordan Love, he don't get all emotional, all whacked out, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
And I think the guys feed off of that. He got 21 drops. I think he's in top 10 quarterback, has a lot of drops from his receivers. You wouldn't know it.
No.
He's not one of these, because he's made mistakes, and they don't do the same thing to him. They lift each other up, but you can make no mistake about it. 4 out of the last 5 weeks, it's because of number 10 is the reason why that you're in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
With the youngest team in the league, and you get even younger because some of your veterans are not playing. And I just like the fact that you see control. But I'm going to tell you something about Love and these angles he's throwing the ball. That's from his mom and dad. I mean, that's something you just got some talent.
Yeah.
And didn't go to no Power 5 conference, didn't play in the SEC. He just needed a guy like Gutekunst to give me a chance. And not only that, I want to say, take it further, Tom. The first time I ever said this. For Jordan Love, he's not just playing for the Packers and the brand. He's playing for the culture. And that culture is the start of having a quarterback that's very good for a long time.
Right, right.
So that's the start. Because there's no way they can hit again on another quarterback.
Right, right.
So, and I think he's accepted that challenge.
And I think the culture is you make the playoffs every year.
It's
You're in the running for the playoffs every
Yes.
year. And I think that's what's important about this year. And it sort of reminds me of the years before, both in 96 and 2010, the year before they won the Super Bowl. In your case, in 95, you're a good team, didn't win the division, but you go out to San Francisco and you beat San Francisco. And that's the start of something really big, right?
Yes.
2009, the Packers make the playoffs. They had this unbelievable game in Arizona where they lose in overtime. When Rodgers kicks the ball to, I can't remember the linebacker. But that was the start. And that's why I think this year is so important, why their finish is so important this year. Do you think, whatever they do, finishing strong is just vital to what they're trying to build here?
No, I mean, you could be behind schedule, on schedule, or ahead of schedule. You're only two games away where you were last year when Detroit came in and beat you, and you could have been in the playoffs. The good thing about it, though, is Matt LaFleur is a therapist. He's a parent. He's a financial advisor. He's a teacher. He's everything, because you got to let your team know that, yes, we're going to be on national TV 3 straight weeks in a row. We got a chance to show America that we're a team, but don't go up to New York and play different.
Right, right.
So that's why him accepting the ball at the beginning of the games, because he's telling the league, I'm aggressive now. Not aggressive the way I have nothing to lose, house money. No, I'm letting everybody know I'm aggressive. And you can see it in the play calling. That 4th down, the Romeo Dobbs, the catch. I mean, and again, I go all the way back to Detroit. When they didn't get it on 4th down, at least the sideline said, man, coach all in, I'm with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the reason why I think Anders Carlson making that kick, when he missed a few,
Huge.
he got down on himself. No, don't do that, young man. We still need you.
Yeah.
And he came up the difference in the game.
Yeah, there were a lot of instances, too, where they picked each other up, where someone dropped a ball, and then the next play someone got the first down.
Exactly.
Or, someone missed a block, and the next time, the blocking was perfect. It just seemed like they didn't multiply errors. And one of the things, Mike McCarthy used to always say was, it's harder to win than it is to lose, because, people start gunning for you, and to keep up the whole idea of we're going to play the same, we're not going to change, we're not going to get behind. You got to control that too.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the weakest schedule based on records remaining in the NFL. How do you sell that to your players without them getting big heads?
No, that's a good question. That's when I would go and visit Lee Remmel. And he was like, what's going on? I said, because I don't know. This was way before the media was saying trap game stuff. I'm like, I'm so high because we just beat one of the best teams, and we got one of the worst teams next week. How do you keep playing? And I remember something he told me. He said, when you look in the mirror, it's the same guy, but you don't have the same emotion. So that emotion playing somebody like the Cowboys or San Francisco got to be the same time when you were playing Detroit when they only won 2 wins. But he also told me that the motivation would be it's an NFC game that you can make up from when you lost to, like, for example, Atlanta. That was a bad NFC loss. Well, you can get that back if you go in, play the Giants, and be aggressive and take that game serious on Monday night.
Yeah, that'll be, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like they will play a couple of games that they could lose. Like they won't play as they hope. But the question is, can they overcome that and still win games? That's what
Tampa
good
Bay
teams
got enough
do.
firepower to win a game.
Right. Yeah.
With Mike Evans, that guy's a living Hall of Famer. But
I just think, you're going to play some lousy games, but can you overcome it?
Yes.
Can you overcome it and still win somehow? So maybe Jordan Love has a bad game. Can the defense be the one that turns it around?
That's a good point.
Maybe A.J. Dillon isn't running the ball and, Jordan Love plays lights out. I don't know. I just think that's going to happen at some point. Do you think that's accurate?
Yes. The other team gets paid too. Every week is 3 upsets. You can't be one of those teams. Or you got to be one of the teams that upsets. They're going to be favored in every game.
Right.
But that don't mean you're going to win. So it's up to the coaches, because, I'm a Joe Barry guy. Win, lose, or draw. I like his system. I like him as a person. But right now, I bet you if I had to put him on a dark room with a light on him, he's saying it's up to me to make sure my guys stop the run and make DeVito have a career day.
Yeah.
I'm stopping 26.
Yeah, you got to stop Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I know Pashenko had a good day, but we stopped Mahomes.
Yeah.
We forced Mahomes to have a career day, and they won the game.
Right.
Keon Nixon, nephew, that was a big interception.
Yeah, that was huge.
So when you go to New York, we're going to make him have a career day, but 26 cannot have 200 yards rushing. Because now they're in the game, and Jordan Love is on the sideline.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much that's the plan.
Yeah. And, in the week after that, Baker Mayfield can do some damage against them. Yeah. And you never know when Bryce Young's going to break out with the Panthers. It's just, you don't know how these weeks are going to go, but it sure does look favorable for them. To win out, really.
But see, it's a young team. They don't even know that.
Right.
A
I agree
veteran
with
team
that.
like we was when Indianapolis beat us.
Yes.
We had the big head. This young team is like, Malik Heath is like, I'm waiting to play.
Yeah.
Wicks, I'm ready to play. What? Watson ain't playing. I'm ready to go. Romeo Dobbs, man, just throw it to me and give me a chance. I'm going to catch it. 20 is like, I don't have to sub. I'll play the whole game. But you're going to get Musgrave back. I'm praying at one point, being my favorite player. I got to check on him. But you think 33 would be back in a few weeks?
Yeah.
So you got to ride on that, too. And Jair maybe be able to come back. You can ride on that. But the team is so young, they don't even know nothing about that, and that's a good thing.
I think you're right. I think, I was asking Tucker Kraft about this the other day. So you didn't lose when you were in college. You didn't have a losing season when you were in college. And you had this losing season then where was it different? Was it foreign?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I'm just thinking about, what I've got to do in the next game, know? And that's really, I think, the benefit in some way of having a young team is they're not thinking ahead. They don't know what the playoffs race means. They don't even know what a playoff game is.
Nope. It's just fun winning. And you can see, and the reason the coaches, the guys, they had the same demeanor. They just say sooner or later it's going to click. But they beat some good teams, not like some of the bad teams.
Right. This wasn't a 3-game winning streak against, the dregs of the earth.
Right. It was good teams, man.
Two really good teams.
Yeah, two first-place teams.
Yeah.
With Detroit and Kansas City.
And then another team with a really good offense. So,
yep.
There's nothing to be ashamed about.
No, not at all. Wins. But they're very self-confident. They're looking for the opportunity of showing their fan base that, we're young, but it's almost like the young guns.
Yeah.
That we have the energy to keep it up.
Right.
And I like that.
Does it worry you that they might not have Christian Watson who pulled a hamstring again?
Well, it depends on how bad it is, but when you're really, really fast, which I don't know nothing about, hamstring is an issue. But the thing about it, Heath has been playing. Wicks has been playing.
Yeah.
You can always go to 11. Jay Reed, he's the number one guy. So I think they would love him, and they're dangerous with him. But if he can't play, these young guys are ready to go.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. That's why it's a deep group. I'm trying to think of a nickname for them. I'll have something maybe in a couple of weeks.
On our podcast, I have been forthright. There's one player I just kind of like, and I jump on his bandwagon.
Other than me, who was that?
Yeah, no, I don't even remember when you played. And Wicks was the guy from training camp that I was just like, man, this guy's got something.
Yeah.
You know, you can just see it. He's mature. He's certainly runs routes, good routes, strong hands.
You just want an opportunity.
It's amazing, too, when you look at a guy like that who had this awful senior year with a new coaching staff, and they don't think he's very good, you know, or you know, that he knows their offense, has trouble learning the offense. Packers bring him in to talk to him, and, you know, he aces everything on the chalkboard, and they're like, okay, good, you know, and so they got like a secret guy there, and they get him in the 5th round. So that's really good scouting. Amazing? Yeah, it's amazing how that kind of stuff happens.
Same thing with Zach Tom, or even Walker.
Yes, right.
Some of these guys, you're thinking that people have to thumb through their media guy. Who are these guys?
Yeah.
And these guys are just, every week they get better. Every week they get better. But as you said, there's going to be some clunkers.
Yeah.
And you got to try to figure out, because just like winning is contagious, losing is contagious, you find ways to win. You can always find ways to lose as well.
Yeah.
So, but Matt LaFleur's 16-0 in December.
Yeah.
At home. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited for what's the growth of these young guys are. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see, you know, how they handle yet another nationally televised game on Monday night.
So I think the Packers will win, and the offense is really moving now. But I think 28 played in Boston College, so we're going back to that northeast area. I expect him to, he probably won't practice because he's a little banged up, but Taylor's very capable. If they can run the football and play action, and the telltale sign, if they receive the ball, if they score in the first quarter, I look for it to be pretty good. But I look at the Packers winning 29-17.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Defense should be able to get some turnovers. I'm looking for 52 to get more sacks, more pressure up the middle. And again, every team in the NFL can beat anybody if you don't be ready to play.
Yeah.
So, but these game plans have been so aggressive. I don't see them going back to anything.
Yeah, and you know they're starting to get some guys back. If they ever get Jair Alexander back, that's another feather in the defense's cap. You know,
I got 10 seconds. If when the veterans do come back like Jair, do you put them in or do you let them put them on a pitch count?
I loved how they used Savage in this last game. He started, which, you know, that's a deferential treatment to a former starter. Yeah. But then they brought in Rudy Ford for a series, and then they brought in Anthony Johnson as the dime. You know,
they seem to
safety,
be fresh,
and they were rotating.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
I thought that worked out really well because Savage isn't ready to play a whole game. You know. So I thought that was really smart how they handled. I think that was probably their DB coach, Greg Williams, who was a really impressive guy. Nice. Yeah. So maybe that's what they do with Alexander. You know, bring him in, and Ballantyne plays half, you know, half the snaps or something like that. So we'll see. I honestly don't know what the situation is.
You wouldn't put him on injured reserve, would you?
Well, there's no need to. You only put a guy on injured reserve if you need his roster spot. Right. They don't need his roster spot. They got plenty of guys available. So
you got 4 games?
You'd have to miss 4 games.
And they got 4 left?
They got 5.
5 left. Okay, 5 left.
There's no reason to put him on higher. You just keep waiting. He's been practicing.
Yeah.
There's just something not right with his shoulder that they won't put him on the field, or he's not ready. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. Let's bring him back so he can cover Mike Evans.
All right.
Yeah.
You got some people you want to
thank? Yeah, I want to thank Torzala, again, one of the best breweries anywhere in the south side of Milwaukee, on the south side of Milwaukee, south side, it doesn't matter. It's in Milwaukee on the south side. But you can like them on Facebook, and we got some great things coming up with there. We're developing our new LeRoy Butler root beer, which they say they'll hook you up.
Okay.
They say you got to pay for it, but they'll hook you up.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Wherever
you pay for it,
I'll hook you up. I got you.
Okay.
And of course, anywhere you download podcasts, look for the Leap 36 podcast. We talk in depth about Packers and all kind of stuff. Stay tuned for X and O. So we got some good stuff coming.
Yep, and we will see you after the Giants game.
Yes, go Pack.